Welcome to another episode of Rim Shots with Sean, brought to you by Barstools and Bandtalk right here on the Rock Rage Radio Network. I have a gentleman. I'm a little envious. He's got a really nice coat on, and he's in some wonderful weather. I have Luis Osorio from Sky Lighthouse, all the way from Orlando, Florida. Sir, how are you?
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for being here. And it took us a while to get there, but through the wonders of technology, we eventually do figure things out, right?
Yeah.
Um, your gal Raquel, who I've done a lot of work with, she sent some info on you guys, and I watched this video for Melodic. Tell me a little bit about it. I have some, I guess, thoughts on who might you influences might be, but just bust it out for us a little bit here, Liz.
My influences on music.
Well, just tell us about the song.
Okay, about the song. About the song, it's just something that that I wrote about all the demons that that live inside of us, all the different choices we make on our own, and sometimes they feel like they're we made them through the ourselves or through our demons. They get us to go different directions, and sometimes we make the wrong choices because we pay too much attention to them. And we gotta, at the end of the day, they're not gonna go away. We gotta learn how to live with them. So that's basically like the meaning of the song. Like, no matter what, you gotta find a way to make peace with them, live with them, because they're not going anywhere.
Well, so that's an optimistic outlook. I mean, obviously life throws you curves every day, every minute of every day. And it's a great way of looking at things. And just the name of your band now, this is what I had. The band's name encapsulates their philosophy. Sky represents a divine presence, while Lighthouse symbolizes guidance through life's challenges. So, I mean, that's kind of the theme and the I guess the mantra of your band, correct?
Yes, exactly. Sky Lighthouse is just the light from, the dark places that is called life. They're life, life brings a lot of happiness, but it also brings a lot of darkness. So we have the light that is the one that kind of help us go through all these obstacles, all these situations in life. So that's what Sky Lighthouse is. It's the purpose of Sky Lighthouse, the meaning of it, to a light to guide us, to be always there and help us to get through all this darkness.
So it says here 2019 you started. So obviously that's pre what we don't like to talk about, pre-COVID, but that's a little while ago, but it's not really. I mean, about 6 years ago. Um, and just I guess tell us what the journey for you guys has been from the time you got together until now, because everybody went through that period in 2020 that we'd love to forget, right?
Oh yeah, yeah. It's like goes from 2019 to 2021. We don't talk about
Right.
2020.
Absolutely.
So, yeah, I actually released my first single in 2019, but it was the end of 2019. So it was November 2019, and it did pretty good. So I was so excited, and then COVID came, and I guess we just stayed in studio trying to work from there. We started growing from home, and yeah, it's been just like that. Like it's been fun, different than like like normal bands that they release something, then they get on the road and start promoting. For us, it's been mostly online because even after 2020, they still had a lot of restrictions. 2021, 2023, even 2023, we still have a bunch of restrictions. So it's been tough, but at the same time, it's been fun and different, online. And now this now everything is different. Everything is online. Everything is through your computer and phones.
Yeah, and I mean, there's a rush of playing in front of people. It's great when you get a room full of people. That's fantastic. But the simple fact of the matter is the way that music is now. You have to change things up and do things differently and look for different creative ways. And in the presser, it talks about your DIY ethic and how you have a philosophy of doing it yourself, having creative control, making sure it gets out there the way you want it. Has it always been that way, like from the start? That's what you set out to do.
Yeah, I guess from the start, like let's go way back, like high school when I start doing music. It was so hard sometimes to find people to commit the way I commit to my all this project. It was hard to find people. They only focus like on the fame and like yeah, we can get there, but we gotta work to get there. It's not like just don't wish for the end of the line. So yeah, basically, and also it might sound weird, but COVID helped me to realize a lot of things, like because we weren't allowed to hang out with people and meet people. So I was like, I cannot wait until things get better. So I just figure it out, learn how to mix, compose, master. I actually even direct my music videos. I learned so many things, being at home. And yeah, I feel like it basically helped me to realize like, all right, I can now just rely on other people right now, and so I'm just gonna figure it out on my own.
I'd like to lob something at you. You brought up that is interesting. So, everybody knows, and I mean, I'm guessing it was the same way where you live. Oh, we can't see music. We don't have music. We're never going to take it for granted again. When it comes back, we're going to really appreciate it. And I found initially it was like that. Now I feel like it's being kind of undervalued again. Do you get the same sense of that?
Yeah, yeah. Could you elaborate a little bit more on that? So I got a
Well,
point.
I just feel like okay, it was gone. We couldn't really take part the way we wanted to, and everybody was like, "It comes back. We're never going to take it for granted again." And for a little bit, everybody went out to the shows and bought the music and bought the merch. But now I see, to me, it seems like they're kind of back to, you know what? I'll see them next time. I'll go
Oh yeah,
next time. Are you getting a sense of that?
yeah, yeah. I feel like it's like now everything is so online that you can't even watch a full show online, and you're like, all right, it's cool to go see them live, but I can just watch it from my room, from my phone. So yeah, yeah, I know what you mean.
Well, and so it's interesting that you say that. And I want to get to the music here in a second, but you're doing stuff online, and we know people's attention spans are very low. So if you're
Yeah.
doing any sort of social media and you're monitoring, and you would be because you're doing all this on your own, if you can get somebody to pay attention for 30 to 40 seconds, you're doing pretty well. So if you guys are doing something online, what do you do or what do you look to do to keep them engaged so that they're buying in?
Yeah, I realize that now these days the first 20 seconds are so important. So you
Nice.
just gotta basically show what your product is. So like just get their attention. That's why I also focus so much on videos too, because it sometimes sounds call your attention, but now these days everybody look is always looking at something. So I focus so much on visuals, making sure there is something like, whoa, what am I looking at? So and give them a little bit of everything. Like sometimes I make videos of like four of my songs and just give them a little bit of everything in like 20 seconds. And they're like, oh, that call attention. Like I like what I hear and I like what I see. So I always focus on what they hear and what they see. So to
Let's
hook people.
talk about melodic for a second because I saw the video, I watched the video, and the first thing, and I don't like to do this, but you introduce an artist to our audience, and my question is always, if I was to do a comparable of who the band might sound like, if I'm trying to get my viewers to listen to it, you would say who would I guess some comparables with that are out there to Sky Lighthouse.
I would say like to compare in a way that I sound like them. Honestly, I'm not quite sure. But inspirations, I can say like my favorite band from old times is like Linkin Park, but the old Linkin Park when Chester was there, I enjoy it a little bit more. And just heavy stuff like All That Remains, Marilyn Manson, or like a little bit like 2000s, like Korn, all of them. They're the ones that built Sky Lighthouse. But if for me to tell you like they something that sound like me, I don't know. I don't know. There's a lot of some bands that might sound a little bit similar, but to sound exactly, I'm not quite sure. But I would say like I don't know, like Wage Wars. It's like one of my favorite bands at the moment, and like Bring Me the Horizon in a way, a little bit. But yeah, I would say something like that.
If I could if I could be so bold as to throw something out there, I got a very theatrical flair to this music, especially when I saw the video. There's a very visual presence to what you guys were doing. I heard the Linkin Park maybe a little bit. Now that you
Mhm.
mentioned Corn, yep, I heard that. So it's to me, it's music that it's not stock, right? Like you have to have some talent to play it. I'm a musician myself, so I'm a drummer, and I picked up on the fact that okay, whoever is playing on this is doing quite well in terms of what they're putting together. Is theatrical type presentation something that you guys are looking to get across to the audience?
Yeah. Basically, everything that we do, it has a meaning.
Right.
It has a meaning. Everything has a purpose. Even talking about visuals or even the sounds. Everything has a meaning. Everything has a purpose. So yeah, it's just like something like that, like kind of like a show style, like something that entertains people not only with sounds but also visually. So that's our main focus.
Yeah, because I mean, when I saw the video, my first thought was that's it. I definitely, I mean, as you can see, I'm a big Kiss fan, and I love the visual, right? I, I can appreciate music that's well played, but I also want to see something like, I want to see stuff being blown up and, and light shows and drum risers going up. And so, have you played like, have you put this in front of people in the traditional way, or have you been focusing on non-traditional ways of getting your message out there?
Could you elaborate a little bit more on that question?
Well, traditionally, have you taken it out to play shows and clubs or theaters or anything like that, or are you focusing on this what you were talking about the online presence?
Yeah, mostly the online presence right now. So yeah, basically I'm really focused because like I would say like in the past you everything has to be had to be done in person. Now these days, like for example, I have like fans in Japan, in Russia. So I feel like the online presence is so important. So but anyways, whenever I start playing these songs live, like melodic. Yeah, of course, there gotta be a big screen behind me, like showing, like getting people entertained not only with the sounds but also with the visuals, because that's the whole Scala House experience. Not only sounds, not only cool melodies or whatever, also visuals, so people can like put the words somewhere. You know what I mean? Like on the visuals. That's basically what we want.
So we've got a few days left. I mean, if I'm looking at the calendar, I think we got about a week left, something like
Yeah.
that. 2024 is done. 2025, what's that looking like for you? Have you set some goals? What would like to see?
Yeah, like 2025 is gonna be amazing for Sky Lighthouse. We're gonna be dropping a full album. We're already like planning some dates to go on tour, not only here in the US but also South America, and hopefully I'm even thinking about Japan because I got fans over there. So yeah, 2025 looks really amazing. Like all this situation from 2020 and all this online work. And like I said, it was a bad situation, but it was a good situation for us too because it helped us like grow online, and still we weren't able to like play in front of people, but at the same time we were able to show our product online. That's basically everybody was on their phone and computers at that time, so it helped us a lot to still grow even faster, I would say. But yeah, 2025 looks really really good for Skylight House. A lot of shows, an album, more music video. There's like a full schedule next year.
So one of the things that I guess it became a bit of a theme with me when we started our pod because we're a COVID project, right? Like I I didn't sit down one day and say I want to be a podcast host. I just kind of fell upon it, and almost 5 years later. But one of the I guess the themes was if people just kind of sit around feeling sorry for themselves, there's going to be people that are taking advantage of technology, and so when everything actually comes back online, the people that were doing the things with technology are going to be further ahead than the people that sat. You're a clear example of that. You're making me look very smart, but you're a very clear example of that.
Yeah, appreciate it. Yeah, like I said, since high school, since I actually started making music since I was like 9 years old. So the my whole career, I always try to figure it out, like never stop. Always try like for example, I didn't like the way I started playing guitar. It was kind of funny. I actually had like a broken acoustic guitar, just the top part, the bridge,
Yeah.
and so I just practiced with that, just like this. I was like, I don't have the full guitar, but I can practice with this hand, and always trying to figure it out. There's always obstacles, so I always, all right, I don't have somebody to play the drums. I'm just gonna play them. All right, record myself, and then okay, now I need somebody to scream because I actually, well, of course, I didn't know how to scream and heavy vocals. I'm just gonna do it myself. Bought a mic, so always trying to figure it out. And like COVID came, and I was like, shoot, we're gonna be stuck for a while in here. So I was like, I'm just gonna keep sharing about online, focus on the online presence, and yeah, like I said, it worked pretty well, and that's the future, I'll say.
It is, and I mean, there's a phrase that always bothers me when somebody says I'm old school. That to me is basically, yeah, you know what? I don't want to change. I want to try to relive something that's probably never going to be effective again. And that line to me basically says, you want the world to change for you, and it just doesn't work that way. You have to change for the world, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Right. Okay, so we said attention span, so we're coming up to that magical time where we've had a good interview, we got a lot of content here, but the piece that we don't have for my viewers is where they find out more about you guys, what you're doing, where they can get your music, all that fun stuff. So where do they go, Lewis?
Well, they can find all our music on Spotify, iTunes, basically every streaming platform. We got music everywhere. YouTube, full music videos on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook. We basically, have almost every social media because it's important. I realize that some people they're more into Instagram than Facebook, more into Facebook than Instagram, more into YouTube than so you gotta have it everywhere. But yeah, they can find us everywhere. YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, even Amazon Music. I didn't know Amazon had make music, but I was like, shoot, Amazon. All right. It's not only for packages, you can also listen to music.
Yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
right. And I will say this: I'm a guy that is big on stats on YouTube, and the stats I saw were you had about 7,000 views in a little over 3 weeks. So that's some very significant traction there because everybody knows. You got to capture somebody for about 30 plus seconds to be considered to be a view. So that
Yeah.
those are some good numbers, man. So keep it up. And I want to stay in touch with you, see how things are going because, like I say, 2025, it's just right around the corner.
Yes, sir.
Lewis, Sky Lighthouse, thank you so much, my friend.
Hey, I appreciate it.
We are back on the Rock Rage Radio Network after this.